Before we start the story, let me remind you why stories are the best way to learn English. When you listen to or read stories, you learn new words, see how sentences are formed, and understand how people speak in real life. Plus, stories are interesting. You don't feel like you're studying, but at the same time, you're learning a lot. Today, we're going to explore Joker 2019. I'm going to tell you everything about the movie, including every small detail. This will help you understand English better, and you'll also enjoy an amazing story. The movie was deep, emotional, and full of twists, so get ready. The beginning of the story revolves around Arthur Fleck. The movie starts in Gotham City, a dark, grim place where crime and poverty are at an all-time high. Gotham is almost like a character itself, setting the tone for everything that happens. The streets are dirty, people are angry, and there's a huge gap between the rich and the poor. This city is not just a backdrop, it plays a crucial role in shaping the characters, especially our main character, Arthur Fleck. Arthur is a lonely, struggling man who works as a clown. His job is to dress up in clown makeup and entertain people at places like children's hospitals, stores, and parties. However, his life is anything but joyful. He lives with his sick mother, Penny Fleck, in a small, run-down apartment. His mother believes Arthur is destined for greatness, but Arthur doesn't feel that way. Arthur suffers from mental health problems, one of which is a condition that makes him laugh uncontrollably at inappropriate times. This laughter isn't out of happiness, it's a nervous reaction he can't control. He even carries a small card explaining his condition to people when they get confused or uncomfortable. Every day, Arthur tries to make people happy, but no one seems to care about him. He's ignored, mocked, and treated badly by society. Gotham City reflects Arthur's internal struggle, dirty, broken, and full of anger.
Arthur has a dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. He believes that if he can make people laugh, maybe they'll finally notice him and love him. He idolizes Murray Franklin, a famous talk show host, and watches his show every night. In his imagination, he sees himself being invited on the show and praised by Murray like a father figure. But Arthur's reality is far from this dream. He's terrible at stand-up comedy. When he performs, people either don't laugh or laugh at him, not with him. He writes jokes and thoughts in a notebook, but his material is awkward and uncomfortable, much like Arthur himself. One day, while Arthur is working as a clown holding a sign outside a store, some teenagers steal his sign and run away. When Arthur chases them, they beat him badly in an alleyway. This heartbreaking scene shows how Arthur is constantly bullied and mistreated by the world. Arthur's coworker, Randall, gives him a gun for protection. This becomes a turning point because Arthur was defenseless before, but now things begin to change, for better or worse. At home, Arthur's life is just as difficult. He takes care of his sick mother, who believes Thomas Wayne will help them. Arthur is tired and burdened by responsibility, while his own life falls apart. They live in poverty, barely making ends meet. Arthur also visits a social worker, but the system fails him. When funding is cut, he loses access to therapy and medication. This shows how society repeatedly fails people like Arthur. The most important turning point happens on a subway train. Arthur, still in his clown outfit, sees 3 rich, drunk men harassing a woman. He begins laughing uncontrollably due to his condition, and the men attack him. In desperation, Arthur pulls out the gun and kills them.
For the first time, Arthur fights back. He feels power. But this violent act changes everything for Arthur and Gotham. The city reacts with chaos. People idolize the clown killer as a symbol of rebellion against the rich and corrupt. Clown masks appear, protests fill the streets, and tension explodes. Arthur begins to feel liberated. The killings give him control and attention.
This is when he starts embracing his identity as the Joker. Arthur later discovers the truth about his past. His mother lied about Thomas Wayne being his father. Hospital records reveal Arthur was adopted and abused as a child. This discovery completely shatters him. Arthur is invited onto the Murray Franklin show after his failed comedy routine is mocked on TV. He sees this as revenge. On live television, he admits to the subway murders and shoots Murray. This moment fully transforms Arthur into the Joker. Gotham erupts into full-scale riots. Arthur is freed by rioters and lifted onto a crashed police car. In an iconic scene, he dances triumphantly as the crowd cheers. In the final scene, Arthur is in Arkham State Hospital. Laughing to himself, he tells the therapist, "You wouldn't get it." He walks away, leaving bloody footprints behind. The ending is ambiguous. Has he escaped, or is he trapped in endless madness? After the subway incident, Arthur Fleck is no longer the same person. The fear he once felt slowly turns into confidence. For the first time in his life, he feels noticed. Gotham City begins to change as well. News channels talk non-stop about the 3 rich men who were killed on the subway. They describe the killer as a clown, and this image spreads across the city. Poor and angry people start seeing the clown as a symbol of protest against the rich and corrupt. Arthur follows the news closely. At first, he is scared of getting caught, but slowly he starts to enjoy the attention. Even though no one knows his name, the city is finally reacting because of him. At work, Arthur's life becomes worse. His boss fires him after learning about the gun incident. Arthur tries to explain, but no one listens. Once again, society rejects him without understanding the full story. At home, Arthur's relationship with his mother begins to break. Penny keeps writing letters to Thomas Wayne, believing he will help them. Arthur becomes curious and decides to read one of the letters. In the letter, Penny claims Thomas Wayne is Arthur's father. This shocks Arthur deeply. Confused and angry, he starts questioning everything about his life. He decides to find the truth himself. Arthur goes to Wayne Manor and meets young Bruce Wayne. For a brief moment, Arthur feels a strange connection, but when Thomas Wayne confronts him later, he cruelly denies everything. He tells Arthur that Penny is mentally ill and that Arthur was adopted. Arthur refuses to believe it at first, but when he steals hospital records, the truth becomes clear. Penny lied to him for years. Arthur was abused as a child, and his mental condition came from that trauma. This revelation destroys Arthur emotionally. The last source of comfort in his life disappears. Feeling betrayed, lost, and empty, Arthur finally snaps. He stops taking his medication. He stops trying to fit into society. Instead, he begins to accept the chaos inside him. Arthur fully transforms into the Joker. He dyes his hair green, paints his face, and wears a bright red suit. This new appearance reflects his new identity, bold, fearless, and dangerous. Meanwhile, Gotham is burning. Clown-masked protesters fill the streets. Violence spreads everywhere, and the rich lose control. Arthur is invited to the Murray Franklin show. For years, Murray was his hero. Now, Arthur sees him as part of the cruel system that mocked and ignored him. On live television, Arthur confesses to the subway killings. He speaks about society's hypocrisy and cruelty. Then, in a shocking moment, he kills Murray on air. This act pushes Gotham into complete chaos. Riots explode across the city. Arthur becomes a symbol of rebellion, whether he intended to or not. As he is taken away by police, rioters rescue him.
They lift him onto a car, cheering and celebrating. Arthur dances, smiling through blood and madness. For the first time in his life, Arthur Fleck feels truly seen. The lonely man is gone. Only the Joker remains. After Arthur becomes the Joker, his life reaches a point of no return. Gotham City is now completely out of control. The streets are filled with fire, anger, and violence. People wearing clown masks riot everywhere, destroying buildings and attacking the rich. Arthur is taken to Arkham State Hospital, a psychiatric institution. Here, the movie shows us the final stage of his transformation. He is no longer confused or afraid. Instead, he looks calm, confident, and detached from reality. A therapist sits across from him and asks simple questions. Arthur laughs quietly to himself. When she asks what is so funny, he replies, "You wouldn't get it." This line is very important. It shows that Arthur believes no one can ever understand his pain, his past, or his transformation. Society failed him so many times that he has completely given up on being understood. Arthur then walks through the hospital hallway. As he moves forward, we see bloody footprints behind him. The movie does not clearly show what happened, leaving the ending open. Did Arthur kill the therapist? Or is the blood only a symbol of the violence inside his mind? This uncertainty makes the ending powerful and disturbing. It reminds us that the Joker is not just a man, but an idea: chaos, anger, and rebellion. Arthur's story forces us to think deeply. Was he born a monster, or was he created by society? The film suggests that neglect, cruelty, and lack of care can push a broken person into madness. Mental illness is one of the film's strongest themes. Arthur asks for help many times, but no one listens. The healthcare system cuts funding. People laugh at him instead of showing empathy. The movie also highlights the gap between the rich and the poor. While the wealthy live comfortably, the poor suffer silently. Arthur becomes a symbol for those who feel ignored and powerless. By the end of the story, Arthur Fleck no longer exists. The Joker has taken his place completely. He is no longer trying to be loved. He no longer wants approval. All he wants now is to be seen, and the world is finally watching. This is why Joker 2019 is not just a movie, it is a warning. It shows what can happen when society turns its back on the most vulnerable people.